back to the tool shop. You have Vincent and Tyler with Tools of Salvo. We're going to talk, what?
A non-Glock video.
Yeah, it is.
Kind of.
We're going to start a new series. Alternative?
The Contenders.
Series? Yeah.
Pretenders to the throne.
Yes, that's a great way of putting it. So, we have 3 of my firearms on the table right now. I didn't want to wake my wife up and go get more, so I brought 3 up. I actually brought a lot more, but you don't get to see those yet.
Future videos.
So we're going to start in chronological order, which is not the order you see on the table, of how I bought these firearms.
Basically, this series, don't mean to cut you off, it is going to be guns that compete against Glocks as far as market sales and serviceability and usability.
Yes.
And I'm a Glock guy. If it's not Glock, it's old stuff for me. Vince is the I own a lot of guns for the fun of it kind of guy, so he has a lot more of these non-Glock Glocks than I do. If it's not a Glock, it's a Tokarev or a Makarov for me, or something weird like that. Right?
And I will cycle through a pistol, and then I always return back to Glock because the Glock's the best. However, there was a time in my life where I was not a Glock fanboy. I was anti-Glock. I refused to drink that Kool-Aid. And
delicious Kool-Aid.
My first foray into pistols, if you will, was with the Ruger SR9 series. Yeah.
Not a whole lot to say.
I'm not going to dispute the but I will say this. I was young and naive, and it was during the 08 recession, and there was a little bit of a boom on guns, and a lot of pistols were hard to find. People were thinking it was the end of the world for a while there, saying that there was going to be socioeconomic collapse. So pistols became a hard thing to find and a great commodity. Well, the Ruger SR9 came out around then, and they priced it reasonable, and you could find them. And I will never get rid of this firearm. This is my first pistol. So I'm going to go over the features and why you would or would not choose this, and you would not choose this over a Glock.
You would never.
So first of all, the manual thumb safety. It is ambidextrous, so that's neat, because that's a thing. However, your slide lock is not. So you want to lock that slide, guess what, righties? It's only for you. Left guys, not so much.
You are screwed.
It also has a very California loaded chamber indicator. It sticks up huge and it's big and red, and it will catch your holster, and too bad. Also, you made a great point earlier. Know the state of your gun. Why do you have a loaded chamber indicator?
Yeah, just know the state of the firearm. If you cannot do that, if you cannot remember if your gun is loaded or not loaded, don't carry a gun. It's that simple. Like, seriously, that's basic level stuff.
So also, continuing on, they did not offer night sights direct. You can buy aftermarket, even from Ruger, you can buy aftermarket, but they're Novak style sights. It has a Glock style accessories rail, and a horrendous Glock style trigger.
It's like Glock, but worse than every single.
That's about 8 pounds, something like that.
It's heavy, it's clunky, it's crunchy.
It's gritty as all get out. It definitely has the Glock style, and if you look at the internals, it has the Glock style. The takedown on this gun is stupid.
Hey, you don't have to pull the trigger to take the gun apart. So again, if you don't know to check the state of your gun, at least you won't shoot yourself.
Yep, but you know what you do have to do? Put your finger inside the freaking gun.
Man, if you've had Garand thumb, that's a new level.
Yep, because you know there was some idiot out there who said, "Oh, put my finger in there," and then they did, and it didn't work out. So you lock slide back, push that down.
It's the ejector. Push the ejector down. It's a very thin, fragile part.
Clutch pin. And guess what? I didn't have to pull the trigger once.
Keep going. Just keep going.
From there, captured spring. It is not a dual captured spring. It is just a captured spring. And then a barrel. Now, I will say this for Ruger's barrels, they make all right barrels.
They're okay.
They're nothing to tip your hat at, but they're also nothing to grimace at either. They're accurate. I'd say across the board, Ruger makes accurate rifles and pistol barrels. But that is the takedown. Go right ahead.
Not to cut you off, let's not graze it past this. My big gripe about Ruger products in general, Ruger's a casting house, not a milling company. If they can skip milling or forging apart, they will.
Yes.
Good example of the slides and these things. Everything's casted. So the slide's casted, the extractor's casted, big old casting mark right across the middle of the extractor. The unshiny parts, the unfinished parts of the slide are pitted. The casting pit, the investment castings. The inside of the inside of the slide literally looks like a skillet. Like
yes,
as a skillet.
I mean, if you tempered that thing, it would not be. It would be non-stick.
Imagine with all the oil you run, this is a well-seasoned.
Yeah, I run my guns wet.
Yeah.
Now, I will say for Ruger as well, as a company, they stand behind the products. So if anything went wrong with this, I could send it in tomorrow, and they would send me back a note saying thank you for your service, and I didn't serve. They would say it anyways, and they would say, hey, here's 3 extra magazines, a new case, a 20% off to the Shop Ruger store, and also a couple new fridge stickers.
Yeah, they want you to rep that brand hard.
They do, but the fact that they stand behind the products makes me not ashamed to own their products. I like them a lot. It's just not what I would bet my life on. Now, that being said, putting food on the table, Ruger 1022, some of the American rifles, definitely the Hawkeyes are fantastic, but we're talking about contenders against the Glock.
My big thing is just the quality, the lack of quality.
What are you talking about? That's basically a Glock on the inside.
Yeah, in the same way your car is basically Model T on the inside. It does have the Glock striker system. You pull the striker back and drop it. That's where the similarity ends. The fit and finish is pretty poor. Let's be honest here.
Absolutely.
The fit and finish is bad. The overall ergonomics are horrible. This grip is long. It's quite chunky. The texturing is pretty bad.
But it's modular. This is one of the first modular pistols.
Because as we've learned, modularity gets used all the time in the market. People love modularity. It's just not a good gun in my opinion. Manual safety suck. The ergonomics suck. The backstrap, you get a 1911A1 or you get a modern 1911.
Yep.
One of the two options is available on the backstraps. I want to say something good because a long time ago, my dad really wanted one of these.
You were telling me about this.
Yeah, when they were brand new, my dad was on I like Glocks, but it'd be really cool if an American company. And he was big on that. It was like, nothing wrong with Glock, and there's nothing wrong with the fact they're from Austria. But I would like the idea of an American firearms manufacturer coming out with a good competitor to Glock. I would buy one and own it and just see how close they're getting to the formula that works so well. And then he shot one.
Yeah. Well.
And he said, this is probably one of the worst modern handguns. Actually, in his words, this is one of the shittiest handguns I've shot in a long time. You own it, you love it. I think you would agree with most of what my dad just stated.
It is, like, when you compare it to
almost anything.
Well, I would just say, because again, we're talking about a contender to the king here. When you compare it to my Glock 17, which is the same size gun, I would kick this thing to the curb if it were not my first ever pistol. My nostalgia will not allow that to happen. But the Glock is so much better. Leaps and bounds, space age levels, just better.
The build quality alone.
Yes. The redeeming factor for this gun is Ruger's warranty, non-warranty.
That should not be a selling point.
No, it's not.
If your main reason for recommending a product is they'll take care of you when it breaks,
yeah. How about you give me a gun that won't break?
I don't have to worry about that.
And we'll be fine. So on the SR series, it did originate from the P345. That's what it was actually styled after, which was a 45 series, a 45 caliber. No, it's fine. It's one of those, one of those guns.
Yeah, I know how hard it is to take a gun and put it back together. It's gonna be a pain again. It just flatten the gun, put it back together.
Let me tell you, because you have to get the spring just right.
Yeah.
And then also
with all modern handguns, everything has to be just right to take it apart and put it back together.
Get it just right.
Just right. Everything has to line up just perfect.
But anyways, then they came out with several models of this SR45, an SR40, an SR9C, and an SR40C. They did not come out with an SR40C, probably because you'd only get 3 rounds. But
that recoil.
Yeah. At the time, was this a good option? No.
It's all right.
Was it acceptable? I
Yeah.
mean, it would do in a pinch. For the price tag, in the going market at that time, it was fine. Now, significant improvements have been made further along in Ruger, but it is nowhere near a Glock. And I will tell you, does the King remain crowned or uncrowned, Tyler?
It'll always be the King. Hail to the King. There are a lot of handguns out there, and people argue. But the thing is, every time a manufacturer brings out a new gun, they're trying to beat Glock. They're never trying to be better than their older version. They're never trying to be the best gun ever. This is what we are beating because it is the best. This was their best, and they immediately replaced it with a couple new models, the American and the Security. Obviously, this didn't work.
Yes.
And the Security 9 is not a step up. It's a slight step up.
It is a slight step up, and I would say in the reliability factor.
Reliability and ergonomics it is, but
that's a hammer fire gun. And that makes it a little bit better trigger, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Anyways, guys, we're gonna keep following this path.
It's probably gonna be one of my favorite sagas.
Yeah, we want to unseat that King if we can. Anyways, sound off in the comments below. Tell us what you think.
Like and subscribe.
Tools of Salvo.
Bravo Fox Pop leveling 16,000. 337 for Bravo Fox Pop.
3,000, let's number 103.